It's like, here we are again. The Kirk. I was hoping there wouldn't be the need for like me to vent my frustrations with the Kirk Cousins Derangement Syndrome people as much this season, that maybe something would, be different. But no, it's all the same. What do we got here after the week 1 game? Another round of it's all Kirk Cousins' fault that they lost. Kirk didn't do this. Kirk didn't do that. It's like I'm in a parallel universe. It's like the what if universe. And how do you come away, whether you're a fan, whether you are media, whether you're just neither, just I don't know, just a random person who watches a football game? How do you come away from what happened on Sunday and blame what happened and say that it's the fault of Kirk Cousins? How does that work in your brain? Like, you want to rank the lists of who did what and who caused the game? I mean, I'm still seething over that fucking Dalvin call, but I mean, if you want to just go beyond that, of course, sidebar, the fucking Dalvin thing gets no coverage in the media, nothing on TV, nothing in print, nothing on. It's like it didn't happen. They pretend it didn't happen, and of course that's part of how they get away with this shit. But okay, back to the Kirk thing. Like, you want to make a list of the things that, other things besides the call that fucked him on Sunday. How is Kirk even on the list? Offensive line, run defense, penalties. Like, you go down the list. How is Kirk even on the list? Like, playing behind, again, it's been the same thing as long as Kirk has been here. Every time that the Vikings offense struggles, at least in the Kirk Cousins era, we're just sticking to that period of time, it's because the offensive line is shit. Either they're just shit every week or they have a shit game that week. And despite all that, and I know that the argument is, there's just the Bengals, and of course, if they had won, if they hadn't fucked us on the Cook call and we kick a field goal and win the game, then we got a multi-score comeback in the second half on the road, but then they're saying, it's just the Bengals. So the goalpost would be moved forever. It's never going to stop. But, despite all that, despite the offensive line really, really struggling, and despite, penalties and the run game not really working, and, you're on the road, you're down multiple scores, like, Kirk got him in position. Like, he had... Like, I'm not going to say that he had one of the all-time great games in the history of the National Football League. I wouldn't even say he had one of his best games as a Viking. I wouldn't put it in the top 10 or whatever. He had a very good game, though. If you accept context into the world, which a lot of people don't, the Kirk Cousins Derangement Syndrome people, they don't like context. But I mean, he leads him on 2 touchdown drives. Then with, got it back with whatever it was, like a minute and a half left, pinned inside his own 10, zips him down the field, gets him in field goal range for a field goal, has him going again in overtime before the Cook play. I mean, it is sort of the story of his career in a way. Like, he'll do a lot of times, he'll do what it takes. He'll do what is necessary, and then some other factor will fuck it. Like, the defense will blow late. Like, how many times since Kirk has been here has he led a drive in the fourth quarter, often deep into the fourth quarter, to give us a lead or tie a game up, and then the defense goes right back and gives it right back? That happened for sure multiple times last year. I know it happened at least once or twice in 2019 as well. And and then those games go down as losses and they get pinned on Kirk, like he didn't do enough. You can't play. He's not a two-way player. They don't have two-way players in the NFL anymore. Okay, I mean that's just not how it works. Like he can only control what his own thing is. I know they like to give Tom Brady credit for what his defenses do, but that's not how it actually works in the NFL. Like, or in this case, you hand the ball off to your star running back and he fumbles. So I'm gonna be saying Dalvin was down as a mantra until I'm on my deathbed. It's gonna be just, I'm never gonna get over that. But like, and then the argument I see is that Kirk didn't rise up and win the game. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Like, okay, he didn't, when he was pinned inside the 10, he didn't lead him to a touchdown in a minute and a half. When they were going to win the game if not for the fucking Cook call, and then it goes down as a win, and it goes down as a multi-score. They were down 21-7. Deep into the third quarter, and that would go down as a 14-point comeback on the road, and that's pretty rare for any quarterback. I'm sorry. Like I know. I mean, other than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes seems to do that every week, but it's like it just these fucking Kirk Cousins Derangement Syndrome people. They will not fucking stop. They will not ever pull off of this bullshit. Everything is always the fault of Kirk Cousins, even if in a game that they lose, he is the fucking last person. Maybe there's some guys on defense who had real good games. Maybe you put them even lower on the list. And I'm not saying Kirk played perfect. He missed a couple throws in the first half in particular. Like, okay, he didn't throw. I mean, he threw like 49 passes. They weren't all 100% pinpoint perfect passes. I'm fucking sorry. On behalf of Kirk Cousins, I apologize to you, wonderful Kirk haters, for him not being, having literally the greatest statistical game in the history of the National Football League for a quarterback. I'm very, very sorry on his behalf that he didn't do that. I mean, is that the bar? Is it literally, the game I always go back to, and it has nothing to do with Kirk, is that fucking Peyton Manning, when it was Peyton Manning Broncos against Tony Romo, and it was like the final score was like 51-49 or some crazy score like that. And people shit on Tony Romo because they lost that game. It's the same shit here. Like, this is the same mentality. Like, what the hell? Could you say Kirk did everything humanly possible to win that game? No. Like, I'm sorry, he didn't play the greatest game in the history of the world on top of playing behind an offensive line that was committing constant penalties and getting him killed and not blocking for the running game, so there's no threat of the running game. Like, if this is the fucking problem I have with these people. They move the goalposts all the time on this shit. And then the bar is just impossible. Like, unless he wins the Vikings a Super Bowl, and he is the singular reason that they win the Super Bowl, these people are never going to pull off of this, this anti-Kirk narrative. I don't know what's ever going to change this. It's just infuriating, and it sucks. It's especially fucking irritating that they lost the game, and so we got to deal with the fact that the disappointment that they lost, and the disappointment that the fucking refs screwed us on a goddamn fumble that was not a fumble. And now we got a tough game in Arizona. We got a tough schedule. Like, this season could fucking go bad. I mean, it could. And I mean, we're 1 week out of 17 through this, and is it really gonna be 16 more weeks of just, if something goes wrong, no matter what the context of the game, whatever happens in the game, it's gonna be all on Kirk. And Kirk might have some bad games this year, like some actual genuine bad games, because guess what? Most quarterbacks do. Josh Allen was terrible on Sunday. Is he being run out of Buffalo? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers just got beat 38-3. Are they calling for Jordan Love over there? And no, I'm not fucking saying that Kirk Cousins is better than either of those guys. But it's the mentality of, I guarantee those fan bases and those media markets, they're not blaming every single thing that happened in that game, in their particular games, just to name two, on the quarterback. Why do we do that here? Why is that the way it is here? It's nauseating to have to deal with these fucking assholes. And I can't call them some of these names on social media because then I'll get banned. But these people are just such pieces of shit, so dishonest, so ignorant, and they just don't stop. And I know I'm not one of the big boys. I'm just a lowly, fledgling YouTuber who rabble-rouses on social media as well, but I know my shit better than these fucking people. I mean, honest to God, these Kirk Cousins Derangement Syndrome people are sick in the fucking head, and I don't know when it's ever going to stop. I mean, maybe when he leaves. I mean, Kirk will not play for the Vikings forever. Other than that, I don't know how this ever ends. Because, look, statistically, the odds he is ever going to win a Super Bowl are very low. The odds of any one quarterback winning a Super Bowl are very low. But even if that happens, they would find some way to spin it into a negative. Like, oh, he was supposed to win a Super Bowl when they signed him. Oh, the money I paid him, he better win one. It's just, I made so many rant videos bitching about the AntiKirk crowd. And I'll probably make more because it never stops. I don't understand how you can be anything other than mentally ill if you come away from that football game on Sunday and the thing you want to talk about as the negative and focus all the attention on all the blame and all the, whatever, is Kirk. I got through for 350 and 3. It was 3 because Jefferson was in. Don't forget I haven't forgotten about that bullshit ref thing either. But those 350 and 3 on the road. I don't know if the Bengals are good or not, but after the fucking Cook call, they win the game, and he's got a 14-point road comeback. Playing his ass off. Not playing perfect. I'm sorry. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to play, and Patrick Mahomes doesn't play perfect games, but he's not Jesus. Okay, he's not divine. He's not going to just part the defense. I'm mixing my religious metaphors there. At the bar, it's like, can he not, like, you talk about overcoming mistakes to win a game. Even the mistakes that Kirk made, he was overcoming them to win the game, and then the Cook call happens. So, and that robs him of a chance to win. So I don't know what these people can possibly ever see from this guy that's going to satisfy them, because they're so fucking blinded by their hatred of him, hatred of his contract, hatred of him as a person. And look, I don't like his fucking vaccine thing, but that didn't have anything to do with the Cincinnati game. Like, they didn't lose that game because of not being vaccinated. That had nothing to do with that. As a football player, he's a damn good football player, excellent quarterback, played his ass off, had him in position to win a game where a lot of other guys out there were screwing up. He wasn't screwing up, other than missing on a couple throws in the first half that he should have hit, and maybe holding the ball a little too long once or twice. But it's just never gonna fucking stop. And I hate these people, and I want them all to just I want them all to be just silenced. Can we just silence them? Like, just shut the fuck up with your Kirk hate. Find a new angle. Learn something about football. Because, I bring it on myself because I check in on what some of them say, but, like, I'm sick, so maybe I'm a hypocrite for saying this, but I am really fucking sick of hearing this shit.